Welcome to NBA Weekly with your host, Dtlf.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy DTLF back with another episode of NBA Weekly, sponsored and brought to you by Prize Picks. Guys, promo code DTLF gets you $50 with your first $10 deposit. Guaranteed, man, and promo money. All right. We got to talk about it because, man, this NBA Weekly is going to have some heavy implications on the Lakers. We're going to get into that. But before we get into the negative, man, I want to say major shout out to my Rams. All right. Matter of fact, here, check this out, right? This is what we just did in overtime. Shout out to my guy, Matthew Stafford, to DeMarcus Robinson for the win, baby. Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there, man. Hey, listen, what is going on this whole month with LA teams and walk-off home runs and walk-off touchdown passes? And, man, we just the city of champions for real. Shout out to my Rams, who now improved to 4-4, by the way. Very proud of this team in spite of in spite of the injuries. This is where we're at. But, yeah, I had to show love for yes. Thank you, Green Mamba. Absolutely, we got to show love. This is NBA Weekly. We're going to stick to the topic. But, man, shout out to the Rams. LA, the only way, baby, the winning way. Let's go. How y'all feeling, Rams fans? Good to see you all. All right. And I'm glad my guy D Free, he says, no sympathy for Jaxson. Anyone that does that stuff is a scum. Enough said. I hope we can just move on somehow. Man, let me tell you something, bro. I agree with you. And you know that rarely happens, D Free. Sometimes we go back and forth, but I really agree with you. And we're going to get into that now because that's the main topic I want to get into. And that's Jaxson Hayes. So if you guys were living under a rock or anything, didn't hear about it, whatever the case may be, busy. The Lakers center Jaxson Hayes, as was previously reported, was involved in an altercation with his girlfriend, Sophia Jamora, in July 2021. Footage has now been surfaced, right, provided by someone close to Sophia, showing the couple arguing as Jamora pleads with Hayes to leave her home minutes before 2 a.m. There's yelling, and then there's banging on the door, which we're told was broken down. And then the couple, along with Jackson's cousin, ended up outside where she continues to demand him to leave, at one point saying, I'm not going to let you hit me anymore. Now, she also mentioned, what do I look like, a punching bag? She said to him, and I quote, and Hayes then bumps and pushes Jamora, which is obviously very, very wrong. We do not condone that. As he begins walking away before turning around, steps later to spit at and on her. And Jaxson eventually enters the home and flips over several pieces of furniture. LAPD was ultimately called around 2:50 a.m. Now, this happened in 2021, just for your guys' information. And when LAPD arrived on the house, they got into a scuffle with Hayes. Everybody saw that video surface, right? This led to an internal investigation. Hayes then faced a bunch of charges, but after pleading no contest, was sentenced to 3 years probation, 450 hours of community service, and weekly domestic violence classes. The NBA did not suspend Hayes, who is now on the Lakers. Now, Jamora did file a lawsuit for the assault and false imprisonment against Hayes in 2022, which is still ongoing. The video, as well as alleged injury photos, were sent over to TMZ as a part of the case. Now, here's the thing, right? This has now surfaced, and boy, does it look disgusting. We hate to see any sort of domestic violence, any sort of domestic abuse. We do not condone that. And I actually expect the Lakers to come down swiftly on Jaxson Hayes with this new surface footage. I don't know what's going to happen to him. We've seen other, abusers of women still in the NBA. Miles Bridges and Kevin Porter Jr., they got another chance. So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say what should or shouldn't happen to Jaxson, but I do believe he deserves whatever punishment is coming to him, because that's not something you do, period. And he loses a lot of fans here. You heard what my guy D Free had to say. He's right on point. I was very disappointed to see this video surface, and more now than ever. I hate to pivot and to talk about basketball, but I think more now than ever the Lakers should definitely focus on acquiring another big, more so now than ever, because regardless of whatever happens with Jaxson Hayes, he still wasn't enough by himself as the last line. Now this becomes a distraction. He's probably going to get punished. We need to make a trade here sooner rather than later to fill up that void. Now there is something of note, right? Is that the Utah Jazz are at the bottom of the West. They're currently 0-6 on the season, which should lower some of those players' trade value for sure. You know, and in my opinion, that should help the Lakers for sure, man. And I hope that does happen. But yeah, back on the Jaxson Hayes situation. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, I'd love to read them and get you guys' opinions on everything, man. But yeah, man. You know, it sucks, man. It sucks. Oh, of course. No, it's always love, D-Free. No, but I 110% agree with you, bro. Absolutely, man, with what you just said. That's I said all that to say I agree with my brother D-Free. Oh, it's never hard feelings, bro. Whether we agree, disagree, it's all love always, my brother. After hearing that, I have no respect for Hayes anymore. You know what, Smitty? I don't blame you, because this dude is a whole 7-footer going up against a 5-foot, God knows what, young lady, and treating her like that is just not acceptable. God forbid that was my daughter, because then I'd have to grow a whole 7 feet to beat his ass. You feel me? Like, but at the same time, that's neither here or there. You know, he's gonna get whatever's coming to him. Everything eventually comes out to the light. When people are wrong, you know, they're done wrong. Eventually, it comes out. And you know, I can't say I'm glad this surfaced, but it is what it is. Like, you reap what you sow, right? Even 3 years later, he's still going through it. This might be something that ruins his career. You never know. But I wish her the best. And as far as for the Lakers, we definitely have to look for a backup big now more than ever. And let's see what the NBA does, right? Moving forward, I'm very curious. We're going to have breaking news, hopefully rather soon, maybe by tomorrow, and I will be dropping the breaking news video. If it happens before pregame, I will go live to talk about that. If it doesn't, then I will cover it then. But yeah, that's the Jaxson Hayes situation for you guys right now. My boy Angel says, yeah, the league not doing anything, unfortunately, when guys like Miles Bridges still in the league. It's horrible. I understand these guys are talented and they're cash cows for the league. They make good money off of them. But at some point, you have to make an example. We all saw what happened with Ray Rice, right, from the Baltimore Ravens. Like, he ended his career. Not Ray Rice. What was his name? Was it Ray Rice? Yeah, it was Ray Rice. Not to be confused with Ray Lewis. Ray Rice, you know, the running back from Baltimore Ravens that was caught in video beating on his girlfriend and dragging her out of an elevator. It's just not acceptable. It's not acceptable when Diddy does it. It's not acceptable when Ray Rice does it. And damn sure ain't acceptable when a Laker does it. And we don't condone that bullshit over here. So whatever happens to him, I mean, again, you reap what you sow on that. I agree. Hey, what's up, Mixtape? Good to see you, my boy. Good to see you, man. Let's see. Lil Dex says, it wouldn't be brought back up if he wasn't in the Lakers. I don't agree with what he said because it's shitty. But that was 2021, bro, and it's 2025. Damn near should have been punished him. The thing, Lil Dex, is that he didn't receive the punishment that was fitting, and that video shows that the punishment should have been more severe. Because here's the problem, right? If you just give these guys a slap on the wrist, they'll do it again. These guys are aggressors, man. Like, what he showed me as a person, as a human being, is like, that's not something you should be able to get away with, man. You know, it's one thing if she was the one being aggressive and he just defended himself or something, but that was not the case. And even then, he's a whole 7-footer, man. Shouldn't be treating somebody, especially that short, or especially the opposite sex, in any sort of way like that. So, you know, it wasn't like she was the one being aggressive in the video, or he's the one spitting on her and all of that, man. Listen, I'm all about disagreements. They happen all the time in relationships, right? Anybody who says otherwise is lying. But it never needs to get to domestic or verbal abuse or even spitting on somebody. It's like demeaning. So, you know, that video came out and it's very damning, right? So, Lil Dex, I disagree with you, Brian. I usually agree with you. So, on this one, I disagree with you. I think he deserves whatever's coming his way. And I think the Lakers should actually be the ones to punish him first. I've heard a lot of you guys say, like, if it was another team, we'd be, you know, demanding justice. I feel the same way, you know, and it sucks, man. But you know, you make your own bed. Now you got to lie in it. Let's see. Hey, appreciate you, Kimiko. How you doing? Appreciate you. Thank you so much for always posting the links kindly. She says, yes, tune in for a chance to watch along tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Yes. Well, we got a lot of things in the NBA to discuss. Guys, that was only one of them. D Free says, well, that video just come out, so that's why it brought back up. He pleaded that he basically didn't do it, if I remember correctly. And she says, I'm not going to let you hit me anymore. Yeah, bro, it looks like he would hit her, unfortunately. Now, I don't like to judge people without having actual proof, but that's what it looked like on the video. It is what it is, man. All right, let's move on to, like I said, the Utah Jazz are now 0-6, and I'm hoping and I'm wishing and I'm praying that the Lakers actually get in on the action, because Utah should be fully committed to tanking for Cooper Flag, right? And since they're so committed, the Lakers should swoop in and find a way to trade for Walker Kessler or whatever pieces they want to give up. But that team should be fully tanking. 0-6, they're not going to go far anyways. Might as well embrace the tank. And while stacking your assets and building there's a rumor that they're interested in Jalen Hood-Schifino. So that was a pleasant surprise. Maybe the Lakers could package him in whatever they want to go and get somebody like a Walker Kessler, right? Both on rookie scale contracts. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, like I tweeted earlier, and a bunch of people agreed, players' trade value is going to go down. So I hope Rob Pelinka is ready to strike and get in on the action. All right. Kevin Durant telling us what we've already knew. All right. Kevin Durant stating that he called out Stephen A. Smith, like a lot of players have recently. He said, I've never seen him anywhere but on TV talking shit about players. He's a clown to me. He's always been a clown. You can write that too. Oh, all right. KD usually is an internet troll, but rarely do you see him get this upset at somebody he's capping, because he has definitely spoken to Stephen A. Smith. Matter of fact, there's a whole interview that they had. I don't even remember when, but somebody sent it to me on the internet. And they've definitely talked, but there is some animosity there between players and analysts like Stephen A. Smith. Now, I remember when Skip Bayless was on First Take, he used to catch most of the flack because Skip Bayless was the one with the negativity. Usually they were playing good cop, bad cop, right? So it would be Stephen A. defending the players. And so people used to respect Stephen A. because they thought he was the voice of reason. But now without Skip Bayless at First Take, which, by the way, I've been a fan of First Take since First and 10 when it first started with Skip and Stephen A. and all of them. And I'll tell you, man, it's come a long way. But I no longer watch. It's not entertaining anymore. I see guys like Mad Dog trying to play the bad guy role, and it just seems so fake. Like, it used to feel natural when it happened with Skip and Stephen A. Now I see it was all a script, and that's unfortunate. Because it's like realizing that wrestling's fake for the first time, or Christmas is fake for the first time, or whatever the case may be. Like, a lot of TV is scripted, and that's sad to see, right? But apparently Stephen A. has been rubbing players the wrong way, starting with Kevin Durant here. What do you guys think of this? Who are you guys siding with? Now, I think KD's a little on the sensitive side, but he might not be too far off here, if I'm being honest, because Stephen A. has kind of, like I said, gone off the hinges a little bit, said some crazy stuff over the past couple seasons due to the fact that his counterpart, the bad cop, aka Skip, hasn't been there. So, but yeah, just food for thought. And I'll read some more comments. I know you guys still want to talk about Jaxson Hayes. Smitty says, karma is a biscuit, and we have always wondered why he hasn't evolved into something special. That's why. That's right, Smitty. Absolutely. Karma's a real thing, man. And when you do wrong by people, it eventually comes back to get them, right? And so, whatever he has coming his way, it's his own wrongdoing. I'm off the Jaxson Hayes fan train. I was a fan of his skill set. I liked him a lot since we acquired him from New Orleans, since he came over here as a free agent. So we're going to talk about Darvin right now, King. We're going to talk about Darvin and the power rankings and all of that. But right now I want to talk about KD, man. Who do you guys think is in the right and who's in the wrong between Stephen A. and Kevin Durant? Sound off in the chat, guys. I love to definitely go back and forth with you guys. My guy Andy Rodriguez says, give me Jordan Clarkson for Jalen Hood-Schifino. I do that in a heartbeat. That's a fact. I do that in a heartbeat, right? Cooper is not what he's hyped up to be, but he can be a top 10 player at one point of his career once Luka and them start being injury prone. Really, Lil Dex? You don't think he's that good? Guys, apparently he stood out playing for Team USA. He's always been impressive to me, but for me, I see him as like a Blake Griffin type, right? I agree with Lil Dex where I'm not sure what type of impact he'll have. Maybe we're wrong. But the one player I was sold on from the moment he came into the league was Victor Wembanyama, right? And Victor Wembanyama has definitely lived up to the hype. Don't believe me? Check out this play right here by Vic, man. This was insane, bro. He just like a 7'2" player being able to have this type of ability and skill is insane. Look at this. Pump fake, bring him off the dribble, step back, crossover into a jump shot. Bam. Nothing but net. Like that is not something you can teach. All right. That's just a God-given gift right there, man. Look at the balance on his jump shot and everything. So beautiful. But Cooper Flag is different. We don't know what type of player he's going to become. I don't want to pass judgment on him until I see him in the league, but I am excited to see what type of player he is. Matter of fact, a lot of teams are excited because apparently they're all in on him. And I think the Jazz should be in too. And they should go ahead and give away some of their players to my Lakers while they're at it, right? But that's just how I feel. Gary says, I read a report that the Jazz, Hawks, and Nets are interested in Jalen Hood-Schifino. Correct, Gary. Correct. But the interest could be overstated. Sometimes people are just putting out stuff for rumor's sake. It could just be the case that the Lakers are shopping him in a package around and they're saying, yeah, we'd be interested. But, we don't know if the interest is coming from like the outside source calling us, which would give us more legs, versus us saying, would you be interested if we threw in Jalen Hood-Schifino's rookie contract? And I do believe there's a chance he gets traded. I like to read the tea leaves, and I can see that the Lakers opted out of his rookie contract, which means he becomes an unrestricted free agent next season. So that makes his contract that much more tradable because whoever trades for him, they get him on a rental. If they don't like what they see, they kick him to the side, right? And they open up a roster spot, clear some cap space. So again, it makes his contract more tradable. I think that was a smart move by Rob Pelinka. Although Rob Pelinka lost with the move because it's like he's waving the white flag and saying Jalen Hood-Schifino isn't who we thought he would become, and we no longer have interest in developing him. That's why we're opting out of his rookie contract and making him an unrestricted free agent, right? It doesn't happen a lot with the Lakers in our first round picks, but it happened this time, which means they either A, want to trade him, or B, are not interested in his talents anymore. Bottom line is going to get really interesting because, like I already mentioned, Jalen Hood-Schifino, there's some interest around the league for him, which is a little bit of a shocker, but not really because he's a rookie. And if you see what's going on with guys like Scottie Pippen and some of these other ex-Lakers, they're really thriving, which definitely helps the Lakers in their case to potentially trade a player like Jalen Hood-Schifino. Maybe other teams are thinking, hey, maybe under our system, he can shine, right? Just maybe, right? Who knows? But all right, I want to switch topics a little bit and congratulate the greatest Raptor, right, to ever don the jersey, man. And that is half man, half amazing. All right. And had his retirement and his jersey retired, and it will now hang. His number will now hang from the rafters. And it's so perfect. Like when I think of the Toronto Raptors, I think of Vince Carter. Like, yeah, I know Kawhi delivered them a title, but that's not who I think about. I guess he was too short-lived when he was there. I think of Vince and all the amazing dunks and highlights he had and just how much joy he brought me as a kid growing up watching Vince Carter, man. And it was nice to see him get emotional. Really nice to see him and his family enjoy that moment, man. I think it's a beautiful thing. At the end of the day, that's what these guys play for. They play for the championships and the glory, but that's only half of the story because at the end of the day, they want to be immortalized forever. And very happy to see Vince do this. And I was actually talking to my girl about it, and she was very happy for him as well, saying, hey, it must be nice to be immortalized forever and ever and ever. So again, we see him here sharing a moment with his wife and his kids and his family, and couldn't be happier for a better human being. He seems like a great guy, man, on and off the court. He's an ambassador for Canada as well, and just a phenomenal thing that happened there. So I thought, personally, me, I was a little bummed I missed the actual ceremony because I thought this was going to happen. I could have sworn I heard somebody say sometime in January, February, but it happened already, and it happened a couple nights ago. And again, congratulations to Vince. I have his jersey, definitely one of my favorite players to watch. All right, let's see here. Hunter Jewel says KD is right. Yeah, absolutely. Look, when it comes to KD versus Stephen A. Smith, I'm always going to side with the player. I'm not the biggest Kevin Durant fan, but I will say, in this moment, I do feel like Stephen A has kind of switched up on the players, where at once they used to trust him and they used to respect his basketball knowledge. Now they're starting to kind of turn on him because he kind of turned on them. So it happens, man. It happens in every profession, and it happens. But yeah, Stephen A. Smith, I once was a big fan. Now not so much, because a lot of his takes seem manufactured and they seem kind of orchestrated to get clicks. And I don't like that. I don't like it when they start doing stuff like that. Strega, thank you so much for Super Chat. Appreciate you. Beautiful thing for Toronto too, Dan. It is. You guys have your very first retired player, and it's a great one. It's one that definitely changed the game. In my opinion, Vince Carter was the greatest dunker of all time. And that's saying a lot, because we grew up watching Kobe, Michael Jordan, some of the best, LeBron James. And so, you know, the fact that, you know, he's the first Raptor to be retired, is really amazing. Now, Strega, I do want to ask you this, because you're from there, right? How do you feel about Drake saying that if DeMar DeRozan ever got his jersey retired, he would climb it? He would climb the rafters himself to pull it down. And then DeMar, shout out to DeMar, because DeMar was a complete boss when he said he's gonna have to climb a long way up. Like he's saying, my jersey's going up there, so you better get used to it. Whose side are you on, Strega? As a you know, as a fellow Canadian, as a native, you know, somebody that lives there and somebody that has been around the area. I'm very curious. Like, I would love to have some of your guys' opinion, see whose side you guys are. Because I think, if me personally, I cannot stand Drake. And in the words of the great Kendrick, you know, we don't like Drake with the he says, we like Drake with the melodies. We don't like Drake when he act tough. I felt the same way. He was sitting there with his arms crossed, you know, just looking at DeMar. And DeMar has done so much for the city. He deserves a lot more respect. So, oh, absolutely, right on cue. It's disrespectful, Dan. Yeah, it's very disrespectful. And I hope that you know, everybody in Toronto lets Drake hear about it, because it's not right. He doesn't represent all you guys. You guys are very classy, wonderful fans, by the way. Let's see here. Hey, appreciate you, T Money. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you. Definitely. Oh, KJ, I'm with DeMar too. Trust me when I say this. You know, DeMar is a player. He deserves the respect. He's been nothing but classic. So what if he sided with Kendrick? He's from Compton. They're both from Compton. You know, shout out to Kendrick for putting him in the They Not Like Us video, and shout out to DeMar for coming out in it and staying true to himself. He don't have to, you know, he could hang out with whoever. You know what I hate the most is, like, let's just say me and KJ has a beef, right? No, we don't, but let's just say we did, hypothetically. I hate people that get upset when, let's just say, some of my subscribers start hanging out with KJ and I start getting all anal about it and shit. No, everybody's relationship with everybody should be personal and should be their own. I really hate when people start trying to turn people against people. Like, that's not cool. Like, at the end of the day, I have my enemies and I have people that don't like me and I have people that fell out with me, but I'm never going to try to turn people against them. Like, it is what it is, you know, like, it is what it is. Like, they are who they are. Good luck in your future endeavors and move forward, man. It makes you a bigger person. So the fact that Drake's doing this and he's like in his 30s is really embarrassing and kind of sad, low key. You know, he's acting like it's a high school beef or something. Oh, get him, Strega. Drake needs to make music and shut up. Let's go, Strega. There you go. Y'all heard? They have the people have spoken. Yeah, Drake needs to chill out for sure. But all right, let's move on to the next subject, because this is NBA Weekly, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So Joel Hans Embiid. Apparently, Joel Embiid was involved in a minor altercation with a columnist following last night's game in Philadelphia. Now, Embiid took issue with a recent column that referenced his late brother and son, and Embiid shoved the columnist. There was no punches involved, so we are noting that, but the league is currently investigating that. Now, what I found even more interesting wasn't the shove. It was what Joel Embiid said afterwards in his response to his action. He said, and I quote, "I've been through way too much," Embiid said. "I've done way too much for this city and putting myself at risk for people to be saying that. So I do think it's bullshit. Like, that dude, he's not here. Marcus, whatever his name is, I've done way too much for this fucking city to be treated like this." Amazing. I thought that quote was very powerful by Joel Embiid, aka Mr. Trust the Process. And You know what? It might be time. It might be time for him to request a trade if he feels that way. He doesn't feel happy anymore. And I know he's been injury prone and stuff like that. But if he feels that way, like he's done way too much to the city, they're disrespecting him, he might want out soon. The city of brotherly love out here looking like the city of brotherly hate. And these columnists, sometimes they be reaching. You're talking about somebody's deceased brother, man. I've seen it happen with DeMarcus Cousins in the Sacramento Bee, and one of those columnists talk about his family, and he called the reporter a clown and wanted to fight him as well. And so, I'm always going to be on the side of the players with these situations, but it's like if you really feel like you've done so much for the city and they don't respect you, Joel, well, hey, you can always request a trade, man, and it will make the NBA very interesting. All right, I want to talk about trades now, and another city that might have their star requesting a trade relatively soon, and that is the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks, fam, and I'll tell you why. The Milwaukee Bucks are currently, let me see, 1-5 in the Darvin Ham, Doc Rivers era. They have lost 5 in a row, and I would not be surprised if they lose their superstar in Giannis. Now, I don't think he'll do it right now, but maybe over the summer they continue this. They're dead last in the Eastern Conference, guys. We try to warn people. We try to tell people about Darvin Ham. I try to warn people about Doc Rivers and how that was such a bad hiring, and I actually thought it was hilarious that they went ahead and did that. That is atrocious, by the way, man. And the fact that they have such a talented roster like the Milwaukee Bucks, 1-5, Chet, that's worse than Philly, who hasn't had Joel or Paul George. That's worse than Detroit. The Pistons have a better record currently than the Bucks. The Raptors, the Charlotte Hornets, the Pacers, everybody. Insane. I did not expect, I knew they were going to struggle eventually, but wow. Holy karma, right? Holy karma. They go ahead and hire Darvin back, and I think the combination of those two coaches are tearing it up for that locker room inside out. So I find it intriguing, guys. What do you guys think of Milwaukee? Will they continue to struggle? Do they need to make a trade? Maybe trade away Damian Lillard since he doesn't really fit there, or should Giannis request a trade? Same with Joel. What would y'all do about both of those teams? Both of those teams were supposed to be powerhouses in the East. Instead, you got the Cleveland Cavaliers with the best current record in the NBA at 7-0. Okay, you got Boston exactly where we thought they'd be. New York around where we thought they'd be. I thought they'd be a little bit better to start. The Heat, they're always right there. The Bulls have been a shocker at 3-3, and the Magic at 3-3, even though Paolo recently got hurt. But what do you guys think? Wow, I'm like really surprised that I knew they'd be bad, but yeah, that's definitely a deadly combo, Nigel. That's definitely a deadly combo. Hey, what's good, Max? Good to see you. We sure did, 100 Jules. We try to tell them. We try to let them know that they were in for a world of hurt. And it is what it is. Glenn Rivers is a great coach. You think so, Paul? I think he's always been overrated. I've always said it. I think he's a product of that one championship he won with that stacked ass roster. And just insane, right? Juan has an important question here. He says, before you end the live, Dan, I have one important question. Who will be the Jaxson replacement if ever he's suspended or cut to the league? We have nobody right now. We would have to go small ball. And this is why I've been wanting a trade. Not because I knew somebody was about to get suspended, but because we're too thin in the front line. This shows if somebody gets in foul trouble or hurt or suspended, who exactly your question remains and who's going to be the one to step up, right? All right, back to the power rankings, guys. Look, I'm expecting Cleveland to fall off a little bit. Boston will stay around the same. We'll talk a little bit about some of these standings and where they are right now. This is week 2 of the NBA so far. New York should rise a little bit, maybe stay right there around, top 4. Miami has been a shocker, but I never get surprised under Spoelstra, great head coach, probably the best in the league still. The Bulls have been the biggest surprise for me. I think they're going to fall off a little bit eventually. The Magic will rise, especially when Paolo comes back. The Nets have also been a pleasant surprise. Man, Cam Johnson and Dennis Schroeder have been phenomenal. Matter of fact, don't believe me? Check this out. Cam Johnson is averaging what? He's averaging what? 28 points per game. Dennis Schroeder is averaging what? 8 assists per game, fam. 22 and 8 from Dennis Schroeder, by far his best year of his career. But what a surprise. Yeah, I mean, that's probably been the biggest shocker to me in the Eastern Conference. But it's kind of nice when players get set free and they get to play freely. And I'm sure Nets fans are excited about that. Now let's look at the West, okay? Because we know that's where the best reside, in the West. And check it out. Oklahoma City, of course, 6-0. No surprise there. We knew they were going to be the best in the West. I still expect them to. The Suns have been a shocker, but they always had the talent. It's just they had to get it together, I guess, and a better coach than Frank Vogel. 5-1, very good start for them. Golden State has been the biggest shocker. Buddy Hield is balling out of his mind. I really thought this was going to be a play-in team at best, and I still believe they will be, but I don't think they're going to miss the play-in now. Now I think they'll make it. Coming in, I predicted they would miss the play-in potentially. Buddy Hield, again, this offense's schemes and system. Now, granted, they have had an easier schedule, but still, 5-1, they're overachieving. Buddy Hield is averaging 22 points per game. Okay, he's shooting 51% from the field in 25 minutes. Man, that system is a big W under Steve Kerr for shooters. I got to give Steve Kerr props there. I don't like him as a coach. I don't think he's a great defensive coach, which is why they lose a lot. But right now, they're starting off the great start. The Lakers are 4-2. They're a little better than what we expected them to be with a new head coach, but we still have a long way to go, guys. This team now lacks a backup big more than ever, especially with the Jaxson Hayes situation. But hey, at least we have a better record currently than the Dallas Mavericks, so that's a plus. The Memphis Grizzlies, right where I thought they'd be. The Sacramento Kings and the Nuggets kind of have disappointed in their starts, but I'm very happy about the Nuggets. And by the way, there's an Over the Hedge mini segment coming up at the end of the video where I'm going to break down what Denver Nuggets fans are starting to say about Russell Westbrook already. I hate to say we told them so, but yeah, here it is. And then the Spurs are 3-3. Again, this is the team that's going to be in the middle of the pack. Wemby is different, man. The Pelicans, they started off with an injury. Their big trade, their big splash, DeJounte Murray, they lost in the first game. So this explains that. And then Minnesota has been a little disappointing, but you know what? It's going to take a little bit of time to gel. They're going to do good this season, I feel. And then the Clippers are where we thought the Clippers would be. Absolute garbage, just like their toilet bowls, followed by Portland and Utah, who I pray and I hope is a trade partner for the Lakers. Questions, comments, concerns, guys, about the East and the West. Darius says, Bucks are my Eastern team. They shouldn't have fired Adrian Griffin. I agree, but you can blame Giannis for that because Giannis wasn't happy his brother wasn't getting PT from what I'm hearing, right? From what I'm hearing, at least. Let's see. I'll read a couple. Warriors got favorable schedule. Don't doubt the Warriors, Dan. I always doubt the Warriors, Darius, because that's not winning basketball for me. And Curry just got hurt, but they're holding their head above water. I'll give them credit for now, but I will continue to doubt the Warriors until they showed me, But Juan is right. The Warriors got a favorable schedule to start, very favorable, extremely. And so I'm not that impressed, although they are ahead of the curve from where I thought they would be. But still a long season. They played most of the season without Steph as well. Yeah, D-Free. That's one of the only teams I kind of pegged wrong to start the year, but I didn't look at their schedule, to be fair. I think things will balance out. Eventually, they'll be bottom 8, 9, 10 seed. But their young players are playing exceptionally well. And, and even some of their newly acquired vets like Buddy Hield. This dude is playing out of his mind. He's having a career year to start benefiting from that system. There was always rumors that they were trying to acquire him. Systems make players better, and that system right there definitely makes their players better scorers. If you're a shooter, it's going to be kind of like the Mike D'Antoni system made Jeremy Lin Sanity, and made Steve Nash a 2-time MVP. The system, Nash was always a good player, but when he went to Phoenix under Mike D'Antoni, it was different, right? So some systems just really infuse certain players, and Buddy Hield landed in exactly the right spot for himself. My guy said Warriors are about to catch some losses with their upcoming schedule. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about them at all. I'm not too concerned about them, CJ. But I got to give flowers where flowers are due. I mean, currently right now, they are 5-1. Right? They have a better record than us right now. So, got to give them credit as much as I hate to do that. Y'all know how I feel about the Warriors. Dan, the Flippers hasn't won a game on its new arena. Carlos, the Flippers are always going to be Flippers, my boy. That's what they do, man. This is what they do. I'm not surprised at all. You know, they are a joke of a franchise. They really went into the new arena without Paul George and with a hurt Kawhi Leonard. Think about it, right? Cam, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, my guy. Draper, my guy. Let's see. Max says, what's plan B for the Lakers, Dan, if we can't get Walker Kessler? Then we have to pivot and try to land another big man. I think we may even get to see some Christian Koloko minutes eventually. But, you know, all in all, it's been, you know, it's been interesting to see what happens there. And with the new development with Jaxson, where I think the Lakers are even more incentivized to get something done to bring somebody over. So could be a blessing in disguise if they make a quick trade. Not to say that what Jaxson did is a blessing, but this revelation could be a blessing if the Lakers do move in that direction. Let's see. Yo, what up, KD? Good to see you, man. All good, my boy. All good. Good to see you over here, man. Chilling with the Laker fam and the NBA family. All right. So it's not all bad for the Philadelphia 76ers because they're about to get Paul George back, right? We got the news today. Shout to Shams. That George is set to make his comeback on Monday, which is tomorrow, from the bone bruise in the left knee. October 14th, 76ers then play the Clippers on Wednesday. Again, the Lakers play that game, so I won't get to cover that game, but I would have loved to see Paul George's return to the Clippers to hopefully smoke them. So that would have been fun to watch. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen because the Lakers play that day, but you know, one of them things, man. Is that the Warriors' next 4 or 5 games are versus contenders, though? So real testing coming. Yeah, you know what, D-Free? I think those Warriors are eventually going to get exposed. I don't think they're a great team at all. I think they're a product of the system. Right now, they've been taking advantage of that. Early schedule favors. But I think the Lakers had a tough schedule, one of the tougher schedules in the league to start, and we're 4-2. So it's about to ease up a bit, and the Lakers should actually jump on this Western Conference standings. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Dan, can we please play Quincy? Hey, man, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm a big proponent of giving guys who show potential playing time, right? That's how you get the Scottie Pippen Juniors of the world and the Jay Huffs actually end up developing. I'm starting to realize what's something we all knew, right? That this Lakers franchise doesn't have a lot of patience with young players. They've shown it again by opting out of Jalen Hood-Schifino's next contract. But, you know, all in all, you know, you realize that the Lakers are just an impatient franchise. We are a win now team always. We're constantly in win now mode. So the best sample of developing players we had, unfortunately, had the wrong coach and the coaching staff with Luke Walton, right? When we had Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, Kuzma, and all those guys. That was like the best thing we had for rebuilding, and we ended up having to trade them all because they didn't develop on time due to the poor coaching staff, in my opinion, right? So it's unfortunate. Let's see. Behind the bar 2.0, Dan, your boy Austin Reeves got cooked the whole game versus the Raptors like a crock pot. He did get cooked, but to be fair, in his defense, he was hurt, and he played hurt. So I actually give him credit for trying hurt. But your boy, D'Angelo Russell, or whoever your boy is, because clearly you're taking it personal when you know I call anybody out. Whoever your boy is also got cooked. That whole game, the whole team got cooked, including Austin and D'Lo, and it doesn't hurt me to say because I'm a team fan first, man. It doesn't hurt me to say at all. You know what's funny? I find it ironic that you guys get offended. I had some guy call me a LeBron Dan, and I was actually kind of honored he did that because it proves my point that I'm not a hater. I simply call out what needs to be said, which a lot of channels don't. A lot of channels, well, a lot of, you know, shout out to like certain channels do call it out. Shout out to everybody who keeps it real, but some channels, you know, they don't want to say the wrong things. I will say that. And because they're afraid to poke the beehive. Let's see. Dan, Quincy should be getting a shot. Gabe is a terrible player, making $11 million. I 110% agree with that. Now, I don't think Gabe is a terrible player, but he doesn't look back to form since his injury. Eventually, I'm hoping that he does come back to form, but if he doesn't, he's going to look like trade bait to me, especially since he's on an expiring contract. D-Free says, Lakers very easily could have went 0-6. LOL, we definitely been playing tough games. Yeah, bro. It's been a tough year. I'm glad that the Lakers are on the winning side of that, and a lot of that is a testament to the coaching staff and the players. But, man. Oh, my guy said, "Oh, D'Lo sucks too. No smoke for you here, brother." Oh, okay, okay. I thought I offended you or something, bro. But no, I call out Austin, man. I was not happy with some of his defensive efforts last game, but I will say, to be fair, he almost didn't return to the game with the tweaked ankle. So, but all in all, I'm very proud of Austin. I think he's having a great season. He should be averaging 20 a game. He's at 17 now, but that's only because, again, he tweaked his ankle. He wasn't the same the rest of the game. Otherwise, he probably would have put up a 30-piece the way he started the game. How about the referee give the Lakers 41 free throws attempted against the Raptors? How does that happen? Almost 30 free throws attempted per game is ridiculous. Uh, Kira, wrong. You're living up to your last name, man. You're very wrong about this. It's not ridiculous. It's simple. If you look at the 2-star players, they're aggressive star players. They attack the rim. They have great size. They have a lot of advantages. And you're Toronto Raptors. I'm guessing you're a Toronto Raptors fan for the way you asked that. So I'm going to assume you're a Toronto Raptors fan. Your Toronto Raptors fouled a lot, okay? And they did it last year as well, because you guys have a lot of young up-and-coming players I'm a big fan of. RJ Barrett, guys like that, that unfortunately are no match for the likes of LeBron and AD, right? That's just the truth, man, whether you like it or not. We're going to listen, there was a lot of foul calls that weren't called in our favor. So we got 41 free throws. We should have got 51 if we're being quite frank. But, we're one of the best teams at attacking the rim and getting to the free throw line. We were that last year as well. And I'm sorry that it brings you displeasure, man. But the truth of the matter is the Lakers are that team. And we're led by 2 stars that primarily score on the inside. And that's going to draw a lot of fouls, especially when you're going up against younger teams. And that's just the truth. All right. Let's switch topics a little bit here. The NBA is looking for a different format for the 2025 NBA All-Star Game. Okay. Listen, last year's All-Star Game was very annoying. I covered it on playback, and it was one of the most boring things I covered, literally. The dunk contest was whack. Like, it just... All-Star Weekend is being saved by the 3-point shootout. That's it. That's the only actual competitive event. And I do find it intriguing that the NBA keeps trying to tweak things to try to make it more competitive. This is what the commissioner had to say. He says, "We're looking at different formats for this year's All-Star Game. So it's not traditional game format." NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said Saturday in Mexico City, referring to the game coming on February 16th in San Francisco. Now, here's my problem, right? He continues to say, We have had direct conversation with Steph Curry. It's a home game for him. I know it's very prideful, and he wants to make sure that the players put their best foot forward. So we're looking at other formats," Silver said. "I think there's no doubt that the players were disappointed as well in last year's All-Star Game. We all want to do a better job providing competition and entertainment for our fans." That's the problem. You're going to the player that ruined the All-Star format. Okay, you're going to Steph Curry, and last year was a half-court shootout, and it's all because of Steph Curry. So they're barking up the wrong tree there. Ask the fans. Well, they should do a survey for every fan that has bought tickets to go to NBA games this season, an email, and there should be a survey on how the fans would like to watch the All-Star Game. Because I got plenty of ideas, but they're not tapping in with the most important part of their league, which is the fans. Here's my suggestion, and I said it last year, and some people agreed, some people disagreed, and that's fine. My suggestion for the All-Star Weekend is to put something at stake for it. All right, I have genius ideas. They don't have to pay me. They could take my ideas. I don't give a damn. Just make it entertaining for us again, because, look, let's start with the All-Star Game. They putting up money and stuff like that. Players already got money. They get more endorsement money by showing up to a club after the All-Star Game than what they actually get for winning the All-Star Game or whatever charity or whatever. It's not going to be motivation for them. So how about this? Whatever conference wins should get home court in the NBA Finals. Okay? They'll play hard. Even if it's just the fourth quarter, they'll play hard, because nobody wants to have a championship decided based off of home court in the All-Star Game. They won't like it very much. I promise you that. Players don't like anything they have to work for in this era. They like everything gifted to them. So make them work for it. If you're the commissioner, stop asking Curry, who broke the fucking All-Star Game, what Curry wants. Because he's going to want a 4-point line and bullshit. He's going to turn into Space Jams too. We don't want that, right? Make it competitive again. NBA finals are at stake. All right, winning conference gets home court advantage. It's that simple. All right, and they want to make a big deal about it and cry, go win the game or shut up and lose the championship potentially. But it's a one-game difference. It's not a huge difference. People are going to make it a big deal. Oh, it's not fair. What if the best record, blah, 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 blah. That's how you make it competitive. Simple. All right. I solved the All-Star game with one swift of a move, just like that. We don't want to hear Curry's opinion. He's going to want everybody to play Hamilton at the arena or some bullshit. It's going to put us to sleep. We don't want that, okay? We want competitive basketball. Bring that back. And I have another suggestion for the NBA dunk contest, all right? You guys want to hear it? Invite one player who isn't in the NBA, but is one of the world's best dunkers to compete against these fuckers. If they get embarrassed, and let's just see the Team Flight brothers, invite one of them. Kilgannon, Jordan Kilgannon, the one that could double, through the legs dunk. Invite one. And the fans, listen, they're going to be fan favorites right off the top. So you really got to bring your A game. If the NBA players lose one year, and by the way, put a cash prize. People love to see from rags to riches stories, right? Can you imagine if the NBA sends Jaime Jaquez, who I love, by the way, it's not really a dunk contest material. Jaime Jaquez and Mac McClung, who I love, but again, is the difference between Mac McClung and Vince Carter, and some other role player, and just like that, we sent 3 pedestrians that are some of the best to compete. At least one or two guys from the streets and 2 guys from the NBA. May the best man win. If the NBA loses, their pride is going to go down the toilet, fam. That means next year, LeBron might come out of retirement to get in the dunk contest just to prove a point. Make them compete for shit, because that's the problem, man. This commissioner has been spoon-feeding NBA players whatever they want, so now they don't feel like they're too cool for school. Even sometimes in the skills challenge, they're walking through it, man. That's not what. Listen, NBA fans, your vote should matter, right? If you're voting for All-Stars, you don't want to see these guys acting like they're too cool for the event. Then in that case, don't come. Stay at home, all right? Get somebody else who wants to come. Get some role players that want to come if that's the case. But just make it competitive, because without competition, there is no fun. Look at that. I just solved All-Star Weekend like that. Chat, if y'all like my ideas, drop the fire emojis in the chat. I need to know, because I think it's not brain science out here, right? It's very simple. All we want to see is competitive basketball. At one point, when I was a kid and I used to watch the All-Star game, I used to get really excited because it was the best competition with the best players in the world going at it. Just going at it. Now we get none of that. We get guys that think they're too cool. They want to shoot half-court shots. They don't want to get hurt. You don't want to get hurt. Get that shit out of here. It's only one game. These fuckers play harder in the rec leagues during the summer. Talking about they don't want to get hurt in All-Star Weekend. That is a weak, pathetic excuse. Bring out the wheelchairs. The spirit of Kawhi Leonard has entered the chat. Ain't no way that should be a reason to not do the All-Star. I'm sorry if I'm getting too passionate about it, but I love basketball, man, and I want the All-Star Weekend to be great again. And I'm tired of even the fans are out here acting like Baskin Robbins. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Oh no, you're tripping, Dan. Nobody wants to see our favorite players get hurt. No, yes, we don't want to see them get hurt. We want to see them compete. All right, it's not hard. Commissioner, ring me up, bro. I will get the All-Star Weekend cracking again. Can you imagine a dunk contest, guys, where somebody, can come off the streets and win the dunk championship versus NBA players? Come on. Sign me up. I will love to watch that. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, the NBA has a reputation to protect, so guys are going to take it personal, right? It's just like when the rookies come into the league. What happens? Guys take it personal. They guard him up. What is everybody doing to Bronny? Packing him, blocking his highlights and all of that. Come on now. Come on. We want to see good competitive basketball. So I'm glad I was able to spaz out really quick. You guys saw a little bit of the Dtlf passion, man. I can fix the All-Star game by myself. I don't need no Curry, Hamilton, Leviness. I'm good off of that. Right, Tex? Right. Dan, besides Walker Kessler, is there another backup big the Lakers have been linked to that you can see us getting? Honestly, there's not too many names out there because there's not too many teams trying to look to trade since it's this early in the season. I would love to bring the center from Orlando. What's his name? The big man from Orlando who can space a little bit and play inside. I wouldn't mind bringing him. I would like to see what Coloco can do for sure. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Carter, thank you. Yeah, I think he would be a good fit. He was somebody who was linked a little bit to the Lakers over the summer, and maybe we'll revisit those conversations again. But I really think Walker Kessler is the perfect big man to have here. Yeah, I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying he asked me who I think would be a perfect fit. So that's exactly what I'm giving. The big man from Charlotte would be solid as well, but he still is unproven, just like Jaxson Hayes and all the other big men we've got. I want somebody who's a little more proven, even though same thing happens with Walker Kessler. He's unproven, but he definitely is. I think he's averaging 2 blocks a game. Him and AD would definitely wreak some havoc in the paint defensively, for sure. Now the question is it going to hurt our spacing if we do acquire somebody like Walker Kessler? Because now, he's not really a scorer. So if that happens, they'd have to bring him off the bench to keep the spacing going. But I'm okay with that. I'd rather have Walker Kessler giving us 20 minutes off the bench than Jaxson Hayes, right? Personally. Talk to him, Will. Talk to him, Will. That's all I do, baby. Hey, but look, at the end of the day, whatever happens with the Lakers and the All-Star weekend, I'm still going to watch. I'm not going to sit here and cap and act like those fans that say they're not going to watch, and they're watching through their phone or they have it on their TV. Like, it's still going to happen. All right. Let's go see how Bleacher Reports has the power rankings, and then we'll head into the final segment. Over the hedge. I know you guys have been waiting for that. NBA power rankings. Milwaukee Bucks slides. Los Angeles rises. I like the sound of it already. All right. So, again, Jazz 0-6 now. This dropped yesterday. They're 0-6 now, so they should be making the lick trades and to empty out and fully tank. They should embrace the tank. They should be sellers. Toronto Raptors 1-4. A little surprising because they got a lot of talent, but they've been dealing with injuries, so nothing there. The Blazers are exactly where I thought they'd be, maybe a little better. That's fine. They're young. Detroit Pistons, Pistons gonna piston. I'm not even mad at it. After 2004, I hope they never play good again. All right, Charlotte Hornets 2-2. They're actually, I think, 2-3 now. Atlanta Hawks, right where I thought they'd be. Washington, exactly. I like Bilal Coulibaly, though. I have his rookie signed autograph card, and I hope he does good. I know he's doing good this season, so hopefully he continues that. The Nets, they've been a pleasant surprise. I know their record doesn't say it, but those guys, man, this guy right here, Cam Johnson, always been a fan of his. And Dennis actually having himself a season. Pelicans, they dealt with injuries. No surprise there. The Spurs are going to get better, so no surprise there. Miami is better than this right now. The Clippers, I love it. Anytime they lose, they're 2-4 now. Anytime they lose, it brings me great joy and pleasure, and it'll always be that way. No matter what, no matter how shiny the arena is, it's still a shiny penny. It ain't worth much with the Clippers. The Bulls, I expect them to eventually blow it up as well and go full out on the tank. I don't know what their draft pick situation is, but I'm a little shocked. The Pacers started out slow. They have a very good team, but again, schedules matter. Philadelphia, no surprise there. They've been hurt with Joel and Paul George. Milwaukee has been the biggest shocker in the NBA, not just in the East. So yeah, they're 1-5 now. This team started off pretty decent, but Banchero got hurt. Sadly, he was balling. He had a 50-point game already. Memphis is exactly where I thought they'd be, middle of the road team. Houston, middle of the road team, no surprise there. Sacramento, a little surprise there. They're like, I think they're negative still. The Lakers, man, the Lakers are a top 10 team in the NBA, fam. I'm not really shocked because we've always had the talent, but we didn't have the right head coaching staff, and now it feels like we do. So we can only go up from here. Maybe we'll be top 5 next week, right, on NBA Weekly. Warriors have been a big surprise. Again, their record definitely helps. Denver, I think they're 3-3 right now. They're going to, listen, they're exactly where I thought they'd be, but we should be ranked higher than them. The power rankings here tripping. They got them in 8 and us at 10. No, we should flip the rankings there. Minnesota, they're going to do better. They got a new team, a lot of new pieces, but I know Ant likes his new teammates. He's spoken really highly of Julius. They'll continue to rise. You got the Knicks, Knicks top 10 team for sure. I'm not surprised after all the trades they made this summer. They're going to get better with time. Mavericks, right where we thought they'd be. They were in the finals last year. Phoenix has been a huge shocker in the Western Conference. They're now 5-1. So, yeah, they're like in second place after OKC. Cleveland, man. Who thought Cleveland would be balling out like this? Because I did not. All right. And they're 7-0 right now, updated. Oklahoma City, they're 6-0. They got the best record in the West. No surprises there. And then the Celtics. I don't know why they got them number one in the power rankings. Definitely shouldn't be number one, but yeah, whatever the case, they have them there, and it is what it is. But yeah, not surprised by any of those teams either. But no, I look forward to these episodes now, man. If you guys are here live with me, make sure to hit the like button. I'm gonna do the final segment in a bit, over the hedge. But before I go, man, and do that final segment, I gotta say the Lakers are gonna improve, guys. And we knew there was gonna be some bumps along the road. We got whooped by Cleveland, as you can see. They're a really good team. I said it post game, and then we lost to Phoenix in a game where I thought we should have won. Honestly, LeBron had a really crappy game. We should have won that game. All right, if LeBron just passes the ball a couple more times, we win that game. But all in all, I'm satisfied with where the Lakers are, and but we're still hungry for more, right? Let's get greedy, in the words of the great LeBron James, and let's keep it going for sure. Read a couple comments, and then I will do an episode, a little mini segment of Over the Hedge. All right, D3 says the Jazz don't need to trade anyone to tank. I also don't think anybody on that roster has lost any value, especially not in November. Oh, my friend, I love it when we disagree because we can have this conversation. Listen, the Jazz should trade everybody on that roster, not named what's the big the German kid that they're building around. They should really, honestly, if I'm the Jazz, I'm bottoming out. I'm a seller. I'm looking for first round picks, and I'm building around him and Cooper Fleck. I might even consider trading him if I really want to start from scratch. But the problem with this theory you have right here, D3, is that you have to hit rock bottom before you climb the top. They're a middle of nowhere team. They're all the way at the bottom of the Western Conference, and they have veterans for no reason. Usually when you have veterans, you want to compete. They got Jordan Clarkson. They got guys like, obviously, they got plenty of veterans who are actually going to be competitive, and they might win some unnecessary games. So if you want to fully embrace the tank, I suggest they start by trading Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, anybody who's going to contribute to winning now and isn't truly a part of their future. I think that's the real way. Now, as far as losing value in November, I think if you pick up the phone now and offer something for Walker Kessler, it's a lot less likely that they'll rebuff it and say, oh, we want 2 first-round picks versus earlier in the summer. So I disagree with that take as well, my friend, because I think the more they lose, the less value those players have, because then opposing GMs could be like, well, hey, you're charging us 2 first-round picks for a player that can't even help you guys get a win so far in the season, right? So what are we bidding on here, right? Like, he's not a bucket getter. Like, Walker Kessler's not a bucket getter, and he's a good defensive player on a losing team. So eventually the value is going to drop. If it ain't now, it'll be dropping in a week or so. The Lakers have to be ready because another team could swoop in and definitely get in on the action and get one of these steal trades that we need. So that's just my take on that. All right, let's see. Bleacher already outrageous for this text. I'm telling you, bro, this is why I do these videos, man. I want to bring a little bit of fair criticism and just kind of equality to all of the teams. Everybody I comment on, like I told you guys, I did not think the Warriors would be doing this good to start. But to be fair, their record has been easier. Or should I say their schedule has been easier. All right, guys, it's that time. You guys know what time it is. It is time for the brand new segment. As you guys know it, one of the fan favorites. Everybody's been loving it. Over the Hedge. If you guys haven't really seen an episode yet, basically just going in there and reading the opposition's fans' comments and just kind of trolling a little bit. All right. So this week, we got Russell Westbrook fans versus real basketball fans. Listen, we went through this when he was a Laker. And right away, you see my guy right here, Water. He was crying about it because they had caught an L. And then you got a Russ fan saying, Russ haters can't understand why Russ less scoring every game. He is not an offensive player now. He is a defensive player now. So now they're taking a different angle completely. Listen, I have a problem with this. Before it was let Russ be Russ. He needs the ball in his hands. LeBron James is selfish. Blah-bitty blah, scoopity doop, crappity crap. Look, man, all I hear is excuse making. This is the third team they've been making excuses on. Yes. And busted. Listen, bro, your name fits perfectly. You are busted. Full of crap, man. All right, next tweet. Here goes another Russell Westbrook fan saying, because I guess they were posting that Russ was 0 for 7. All right, for context. And Bruce Gillen says, this post is highly misleading. He played really good game tonight, and Denver would have been toast without him. Hashtag watch the games. I always find it funny when somebody disagrees with your post or with anything, they say watch the games when we're clearly watching the games, right? And then a fan goes, he was minus 13? And then he resorted to insulting, which once you resort to that, you lost already. He said, playing geek ball, huh? Geek ball? No. Statistics aren't geek ball. Statistics, again, women lie, men lie, numbers don't. Okay. Terez says he made a few good defensive plays, but really a good game is a stretch. So again, Russell Westbrook fans will never admit that their favorite player, or just player fans in general, they get really offended when you call out their favorite player. There's another case of the player fan hibbity-jibbies, okay? To which he replies, he got into the paint almost at will and found people for open shots. Impact over stats all day. But somehow he was a minus 13 fan. All right. Listen to this guy, man. This one was insane, okay? Because even Laker fans won't say something this stupid. This guy said, getting waived isn't enough. I need Russ to die? Nah, fam. Listen. This is nuts, man. Now, I understand that Russ warrants criticism. This isn't criticism. This is going over the top. All right, this is really going over the hedge here. This Nugget fan is tripping, dog, and we dealt with plenty of these weird Nugget fans when we were in the series with them, right? Getting waived isn't enough? That's crazy. For somebody to say that Russ needs to die is insane, okay? And then respectful LA fan says he doesn't fit anywhere anymore. Time to retire. Now, that I agree with. I don't think Russ is a fit to any winning organization. I think Russ, at this point of his career, should basically just be with a rebuilding franchise to sell tickets. I'm sorry to say it, but it's absolutely true. Here's my problem, right? And that wraps it up for our segment of Over the Hedge. But my problem is that when he was a Laker and we fairly criticized him, what happened? Right? There was a lot of pushback. People was sending me death threats, believe it or not. All I said was Russ stinks, man. He just does. He doesn't fit in the starting lineup. Bring him off the bench. He didn't fit off the bench either because he had poor attitude. Didn't want to buy in. I think the Nuggets recently started Russ, so they're about to go through that roller coaster with he didn't fit with the bench. Now they're going to start him, and it's like almost like the fans are going to be in denial. If you're a Russell Westbrook fan, you're going to be in denial. You're never going to accept that he just doesn't fit anywhere because he never adapted his game to the modern NBA, which is having a good jump shot for a guard is a must, and or taking care of the ball. He does neither. His shot stinks, and he turns the ball over a lot. The other night I was watching him versus Minnesota. They really lost the game due to, they had the lead. They were up by like 8. He made a couple good plays, but then he turned the ball over in a crucial moment. They give up the lead, and the Timberwolves completely came back and won that game. So I'm telling you, Russ is you take the good with the bad, but there's a lot more bad than good. And boy, am I glad, respectfully, because I think Russ is a good dude off the court, but he is delusional on the court. Respectfully, I think his time is up, and you know what? He's kind of. I feel like we're starting to remember Russ as a negative player when he was really a positive player in OKC. So it is in his best interest to retire soon, to be honest. I don't think he can positively impact and help a team anymore. That's just my own personal opinion. Hate me all you want, but at the end of the day, I speak nothing but my opinions and thoughts here on the live stream. So, but yeah, that really messed up, right, Chief? Like, how can you say you want somebody to die over basketball? It's never that serious. We love basketball and ball is life, but it's never that serious, right, Strega? Hopefully you guys enjoyed another episode of Over the Hedge. Let's see. I'll take final comments. We went over the hour, which I don't like to do, but please make sure you guys hit the like button. And again, tap in with Prize Picks, man. For promo code DTLF gets you $50 with your first $10 deposit play. So you got to play it, and then you get the $50 credit. Isaiah Porter says Russell Westbrook is worst point guard right now. Yeah, man, at this point, I'm not even sure you can consider him a point guard because he doesn't really take great care of the basketball, unfortunately. Turning over the ball is one thing, but with Russ is always costly. That affects the game. And I feel like he has OKC syndrome, bro, which means he thinks he's still the star of the show. He tries to be the hero. He does too much at one point. I saw Jokic literally, and I don't like Jokic. You guys know how I feel about him, but I give him credit. Jokic literally was teaching Russ how to take care of the ball and how to milk the clock. He literally told him to stay put in the backcourt while they had the lead and dribble out the clock a little bit. And it was funny. It was like seeing an adult tell a child how to play basketball. And at that moment, I realized, damn, Russ really has no clue how to manage a game, how to become a game manager, which is something you have to learn, especially as you get older. Man, he can no longer do the same thing. He's no longer as explosive. That's why he misses a lot of dunks and layups. And his game was really predicated on his explosion and athleticism. We've seen a lot of players be able to adapt and adjust their game as they got older. And that wasn't the case with Russ, unfortunately for him. And I'm not here to make fun of him. I just wanted to show you guys that it wasn't us Laker fans. If there's any Westbrook fans that block me or send me death threats or hated on me, I'm not mad at y'all. I just hope that you guys one day realize that your favorite player has diminished and gotten worse over time. And that's okay. Everybody's favorite player does over time, especially when they get injured, right? So, but with Russ, again, he never adjusted, and that's unfortunate for him. But let's let the truth be the truth. Denver has gotten off to one of their worst starts since acquiring him, and I told you guys this would happen. All right, can we replace Hayes with a manimal? You're talking about Kenneth Faried, or you're talking about the one that shows up on my chat? That's funny. D3 says, yeah, that pushback was mainly because he came off of a triple-double season and pushing the Warriors into the playoffs the year prior. So I got it from them the first year, and unfair, Frank, to be fair. Not sure what we're talking about there as far as the pushback goes, bro. Are we talking about Westbrook or the Lakers or Frank Vogel? Not sure. Dan, can we replace Hayes? I already read that. Let's see. The problem with Russ is that he still thinks he is a star player. It's a poor mindset that's killing his legacy. Yeah, man. It's nothing to make fun of. I made plenty of fun of Russ, but only because his fans would get under my skin and I do it more. I'm the type, you tell me not to do something, I want to do it more, man. I'm a rebel with a cause, man. You know, at the end of the day, I don't like people telling me what to do, especially when, you know, I think I've done a pretty good job of running a successful platform with amazing people and amazing subscribers and just a wonderful fan base. When they get negative and say, oh, you're not a real basketball fan, Russ is Russ and let Russ be Russ, and they might as well start a website called letrussberuss.com, because I heard that term so much that I wouldn't be surprised if we hear that at some point in his during his stint with the Denver Nuggets. But I'm not going to lie. I am enjoying that the Denver Nuggets are going down slowly but surely and becoming a normal team again, because, man, they beat us too many times. It's just the fan in me, right? Let's see. Mark Anthony with the final comment of the day. He says, truth be told, that's how Allen Iverson kind of went out. His game was declining and didn't want to come off the bench. Yeah, I remember. And I've used him as an example as well. And that's one of my favorite players of all time. But unfortunately, you know, when players' games decline, they don't make the adjustment. You know, it's better that they retire on their own will rather than they get pushed out of the league. Because I don't like to see legends get pushed out like that. And the same goes for Russ, right? Russ is a Hall of Famer. But his best years definitely were in OKC. Once he became a journeyman and left, the same thing that's happening to Damian Lillard. He just didn't fit anywhere, and his game started declining. So it is what it is, man. But, hey, that's going to wrap it up for another episode of NBA Weekly. Again, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, guys. I do appreciate you guys. Shout out to everybody in here in the chat who participated. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the likes. If you guys already haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure to do that. And I will see you guys tomorrow for pregame as the Lakers get set to face the Detroit Pistons. So that'll be a fun one, at least for us, hopefully. And then I'll see you guys for playback and all that good stuff, man. You guys, please enjoy the rest of your evening. Love y'all, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.